Welcome to Organizational Behavior and Design. My name is Robert Zinko. I'll be your instructor for this semester. I'm going to go over what's expected to you and where stuff is on Blackboard and that sort of thing for a few minutes. I'm on a little netbook, so I had to open up Windows beforehand because it's running kind of slow. The first thing is I'm on the Course Outline tab, and what I've actually done is I've pulled some things out of the outline, and the outline actually says, refer to this document, refer to that document. I found that the outlines are a little hard to find things in sometimes because they're 20-30 pages long is required to have. So if you click on the Course Outline tab, you obviously don't have staff information. You've got an important dates document, an essay document, a group project summaries document, and of course the course outline. So I'm clicking over the course outline. We have group presentations, which are worth 25%, essays, which is worth 35%, and an exam that you take at home that's timed worth 40%. So let's start with the group presentation and summaries. Now I've noticed in class a lot of times you have quite a bit of social loafing, which if you don't know social loafing, we'll talk about it this semester, but it's basically if you and I are in a project and I know that you need to do well, I can actually do less work and you'll end up having to do my part so you do well. Now with Spark you can grade me later and I can get a poor grade, but nevertheless you still had to do my work. So I've set up the group projects a little bit differently in an effort to deal with the social loafing. So what happens is a class will break down into small groups of between 7 and 9, and how you get the groups is you go onto the discussion boards and you click on the find group members and you find yourself a group of 7 to 9. Then once you find the group, you shoot me an email saying the name of your group and I'll open up a little group page for you guys, and then I would ask that you please remove your posts once you find a group, so people that file into the class don't try and join your group. This is where you need to find your groups. Please don't go to the group page and just decide to add yourself to a group, because then I'm just going to have to take you back out. So how the group projects will work. Well, you can add this class up to week 4, so the group projects actually won't start too much until after that. Now you're expected to put your groups together the first week, and as I said, if people come in late, they'll add themselves. They'll form their own group. Let's go to and talking about the groups, another tab you'll see, or another form you'll see in the where are we? In the course outline tab is important dates. So I pulled those out of the course outline also. So if you see week 1 starting May 27th, Monday. I'm starting all my weeks on a Monday. We have chapter 1. You make your groups and open discussion board for weeks 1 and 2. Now, even though the modules or weeks are week 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to do them this way. I'm required to. The discussion boards are actually open for 2 weeks. So week 1 and week 2 are together. Now you don't have to talk about week 1 during week 1 and week 2 during week 2. It can all mix up. It's a little bit more difficult this way, but because you're taking online, you want the flexibility. I want the boards open up for 2 weeks. So ideally, I'd actually have week 1 and week 2 in the same folder here, and it would be a 14-day long thing. But since I'm not allowed to do that, week 1 and week 2 will go in the same discussion board. And then of course week 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and so on and so on. So we see that you form up your group and you open up your discussion board for the first 2 weeks. And then when we get to the 10 June, you open a discussion board for weeks 3 and 4 on the 10th and close the prior board. So if you haven't talked about anything in the first 2 weeks, you don't get to go back to those boards. Those boards will stay open so you can still reference them for the test to learn stuff, but you won't get any credit for that. So once we get on to weeks 5 and 6, everyone will have joined the class. So your first summary is due Tuesday the 2nd. So let's go talk about summaries a little bit. So what exactly is the group project? The first couple weeks I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some discussion topics, so you're welcome to bring on your own about what we're discussing in class, and you'll discuss in the groups instead of a main page, because the problem with the main one is when you have 100 people there, by the time you get home from work, everybody said everything you could want to say and you have all these posts to read. So I'm going to keep it as a small group. So once we get to the weeks where we're doing summaries, each week each member of the group will post a short article to the group that relates to the topic at hand. So for example, during week 8 we're doing power and politics, or actually week 9 is leadership. So you might say, hey, I found an article about charismatic leadership and I'm doing, I don't know, Barack Obama or something like that. So you find an article. Now these articles, they can be academic articles, but by no means do they have to be at all. Time Magazine, CNN.com, that sort of thing. Any reputable newspaper. The newspapers and magazines and online sites that have things about Bigfoot and celebrities, those obviously are not what you're looking for. You want something that's reputable, to where the editors actually do their research and fact check. So you find each week each member of the group will post a short article or link to the group that relates to the topic at hand. So I might have found this little 2-page thing on U.S. News and World Report about Barack Obama because I want to do charismatic leadership. In addition, each student will write a half to full page summary of the article as it relates to a theory presented that week in class, 200 to 300 words. They will submit the summary along with the link to the article to the document exchange for the group to discuss. The purpose of this assignment is to help students better understand theories presented in class by showing real-world examples of the theories presented or applied. Short discussion of the articles presented are expected. So, when I say summary, I'm not going by the textbook definition of summary. Yes, you have to summarize the article, but there's other stuff you have to do. You have to present a theory and define the theory. Hey, I'm looking at charismatic leadership, which is defined as blah, 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 and you don't need to cite that definition because this is an informal report. You don't need to cite any of these, any aspects of your summaries. And then you're going to quickly summarize the article. This is what the article is about, and then you're going to give examples from that article. Hey, here's how we can see charismatic leadership because this and this and this happened. And that's all you have to do. Let me read a bit more here. The article can be gathered from any reputable source. Doesn't need to be from an academic journal. And here it talks about the students will be writing papers for week 4 through 12. So, they're due on weeks 6, 8, 10, and 12. I'm sorry, that actually should have said weeks 5 through 12. Because you're doing weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And by the time you see this document, it will be uploaded and changed. Because we're doing it in 2-week chunks. So come the Tuesday of week 6, you have to turn in a summary to your group and to me at Turnitin about any theory that happened in week 5 or week 6 because the block is open for 2 weeks. I hope that makes sense. And there's a grading matrix. So the assignment will be graded twofold. First, members of the group will evaluate each other in Spark. And if you look at your important dates, we're only doing Spark twice. We're doing it the week of the 8th and we're doing it the week of the 12th because we don't actually start doing the essays until week 6. Spark doesn't actually fall in the center of the trimester. It's just a little bit later. So we're only doing Spark twice, and the first time Spark opens, it's for everything before it, and the last time Spark opens, it's from the first Spark up to the second. So you guys don't need to do Spark every week. It's not enough for a student to simply write their page. They must be able to discuss the topic at hand as it relates to the article. A Spark link will be open for students to grade each other at the end of week 8 and 12. Failure to fill out Spark will result in lowering of individuals' grade, as Spark is part of working as a team. The second way the assignment will be graded is by the lecturer. A copy of the article link and the summary will be turned in via Turnitin by Tuesday of each week for weeks 6 through 12. Each week due, since it's due every other week. And see important dates. And please do not include a cover sheet. Don't include a cover sheet on anything. I don't want you guys to waste your time scanning that and putting it in because everything is linked to your Blackboard account, so I already know who you are. Bi-weekly discussion folders are expected to open and close every other Sunday, Monday night, that sort of thing around there. And like all aspects of this course, a further in-depth explanation of the course is discussed in the introduction video, which we're doing now. Alright, so the group projects are really, really simple. As I said, we're going to have discussion board open for 2-week blocks that you guys will open yourself once you're in the group. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, on and on. And once we get to week 5 and 6, you've got to write one. Now, I put up an example. If you go into your course material, now there's a pre-week one we'll talk about in a minute. So week 1, if you open up week 1, you're going to find some slides and you're going to find a voiceover of me teaching those slides. The slides come from the book, and the test comes from the slides. Week 1 and then the negotiation week, the slides have a lot more information than just the book for those 2 weeks. with the exception of those two, everything else sticks pretty close to the book, but there is some extra information in those 2 weeks. There's also a video in the negotiation week that I've been trying to upload to YouTube. It's being problematic. It's on a server right now that is not a video server. If you're not familiar with this, it means that you have to click on it and download it, and it's going to take a little bit of time because it's a pretty big video. I'm trying to get it up to YouTube. Hopefully by that week it will come up. So we have an example test question with a video talking about it just like this, and then the example summary. If you click on the example summary, sorry, I should have had this pulled up. You're going to get a Kyle document. Sorry, as I said, I'm on a netbook and the computer's a little bit overtaxed right now. While that's coming up, let me talk a little bit about, as I said, so you've got 4 summaries into 25%. When you look at Turnitin, the first 3 are worth 6%, and then the 4th one is worth 7%, because I couldn't break them down into decimals, but they're actually all worth the same amount of points. And here I have an article, so you turn this in to Turnitin and also to your group, and there's a link to my article. It's just CNN. This talks about a guy, Chris Kyle, who last trimester had been shot by someone else, and basically it talks about Machiavellian. It gives a little summary of the article, and then it talks about what Machiavellianism is, which is a personality characteristic, and then it talks about examples from the article, and that's it. It's not real hard to do. All this is essentially a tool for you to have a discussion with your people in your group. And it's also really, really good if you're active in the discussion board. When it comes time for you to take the test, these are theories that you're going to know inside and out. So everything is geared towards the test in that way. Alright, let's talk next about your essay. If you go to your important dates document, you have an essay due around week 8. Week 7. Due Sunday the 14th at midnight. So what's your essay about? This follows the format that you'll find in the student handbook, and they have an example essay. It's a persuasive essay. What you're doing it on is any aspects of motivation theory. Let me go back to mine. Now if you see, motivation theory comes in week 4. As I said, that's the first full week everyone's there, but you're welcome to look at it any time. Weeks 4 and 5. You're welcome to look at motivation theory anytime. As I said, you pull up the slides, pull up the voiceovers, read the chapter, because this is kind of a go at your own pace if you need to get a little bit ahead, a little bit behind. And the essay isn't real big. I think it's like 7 or 8 pages of text, 2,000 words. And this talks about it. It's persuasive, why you think one is better than the other. So you pick 2 or 3 motivation theories, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a couple other ones, and say, okay, this is why this is better than the other. The school says that you have to, the policy for the MBA program is that you have to use academic resources, which are academic journals. And you have to use APA 6 for citation. And here it talks about the sort of stuff that needs to be cited as an example. And of course your grading matrix. Pretty straightforward stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or again post in discussion boards. And as I said, if you go to the student handbook, there is a detailed explanation of what an essay is, how you need to cite it, and it gives you an example essay. Let me see what else we have here. So we've done groups, we've done essays, we've done what the summary is supposed to look like. Last thing is the examination. So you see that the 18th and 19th, what happens is the test will open up at 8 a.m. on Sunday and it'll close at 11 p.m. on Monday, and it's going to be timed. I haven't finished writing the thing out yet, so maybe 15 or 20 minutes for 3 vignettes. And there's, if you go into course materials, you're going to find an example essay, example test question with a voiceover just like this explaining exactly what I'm looking for. So you take it at home. Now the test is going to be timed, and it's going to be the situation where you're not going to be able to finish everything, and that's okay. That's intentional, because if I just gave you one and gave you 5 hours to do it in, everyone would do perfectly in it, and it would really become it wouldn't be a good evaluation tool for students. So go ahead and click on that, and when you get a little bit of time, and there will be a voiceover link here. I simply haven't uploaded that will talk about what the examination is going to look like. It'll also have, since it's going to be on Blackboard, in the next couple days I'll put up a little link so you can see what tests in Blackboard are like if you haven't done one before. So last thing is down to discussion boards. So I've got non-material questions. I couldn't get this video up. I don't understand what to do about this. I don't understand where I need to turn something in. Post that question there. I prefer you to post it there, and I'll check it once a day as opposed to emailing me. You're welcome to email me, but if you post it there, everybody else can see the answers. And also, there's 100 people or so in the class. Somebody else can look at it and probably answer your question for you because they might know. And with 100 people checking this, as opposed to me just checking my email once or twice a day, you'll get your answer faster, and we can help each other out. I've got a little introductions thing. I'm going to put mine in there before I open up the class. And I think that's about everything. As I said, the class is pretty straightforward. Course materials. I've been teaching college for about 10 years, and no one has ever taken one of my exams. This is the first time I've done an at-home timed one. Usually it's individuated exams or face-to-face, and walked out of them and said, I didn't expect that. Not everyone does perfectly, but there are no real surprises. My class is pretty straightforward. As I said, there's 12 weeks of material. As I said, there is a pre-week one. Now what that is, it talks about where we are in today's business. Now there's a single slide and me talking over it. There's, of course, if you click on this link, you'd have me a video of me teaching this slide, and there's a slide about American business practices, because a lot of the Western business practices are patterned after the stuff done in America. And there's a history of Australia economically. Now it came out before the global financial crisis, so the last 10 minutes were a little bit sketchy. They didn't quite get it all right, but it talks about where we are in Australia and how we got there from the time of when we were primarily selling wheat and wool and that sort of thing up until this time. If you grew up in Australia, you probably learned it in high school. If you didn't, it's a really good thing to watch, and it's really interesting. It's probably about a half hour long to get you up to speed on where we are now. And every other week, as I said, just simply relates to the material at hand. So I welcome everyone to the course and wish you the best of luck, and look forward to a very productive trimester. Thank you.